Well, debt carries a heavy stigma. That's why more than half of Canadians who are struggling to keep up with their financial obligations are doing it quietly and often alone. When someone you care about is overwhelmed by debt, it's natural to want to try to step in, but are you doing the right thing?
Licensed insolvency trustee Freida Richter joins us with ways to navigate this situation. All right, Freida, let's begin with the big question and the signs. What are the signs that a loved one may be struggling?
Because debt carries so much of a stigma, I think people struggling will hesitate to reach out, especially to those they're closest to, because they don't want to feel like they're burdening anybody. But there are definitely some small signs you can watch out for. So if you go to their home and you see a stack of unopened mail, those could be legal or demand letters they're avoiding. If you're with them and you see they're constantly getting these phone calls and they look at it and they put it down, they don't answer, again, avoidance behavior. Also, any sort of changes to their physical and mental health or well-being. Oftentimes, people can't sleep. They don't eat right. The stress and anxiety is too much. Okay, so if you're seeing these signs, the best thing that you could do is just to create a very supportive and judgment-free atmosphere so that person can open up to you on their own about their situation.
For sure. Okay, those are the signs. Here's the other big question, because I think the first thing people think of when they see somebody struggling like this is to offer them money, try and help them. Is that the right thing to do?
You know, it may feel like giving financial support is the quickest and most compassionate way to help a friend or a family member. And Canadians last year felt the same way. On average, they lent $3,000 to a family member for their financial needs and to help out with debt. But it really doesn't tackle the key underlying issues that cause the debt in the first place. So rather than giving the money, the financial support, give the gift of your knowledge and support them in maybe building their money management skills, like help them create a budget if they've never done that. Encourage them to speak to a professional like a trustee or a credit counselor, and guide them towards the resources. It's about helping put them in the driver's seat, because right now they're feeling out of control with their finances, so empower them.
Okay, what about co-signing or guaranteeing debt?
Yeah, you know, that comes with risk, because what you're doing when you co-sign or guarantee a debt for someone else is you're committing to the legal obligation for that debt if that primary borrower fails to pay it. And so that opens yourself up to an impact on your credit rating or credit score. It drives up your own personal, stress levels, and it can compromise your own financial stability. So again, I think that most Canadians, last year we saw only 4% of Canadians co-sign or guarantee a debt, so there's a greater awareness and just cautiousness out there about that risk.
Sure. All right, just finally, what are some other ways that you can help somebody who might be struggling with debt?
Well, because again, people with debt often feel isolated. One of the best things and meaningful ways you can support is just to be there. Be a sounding board, listen without judgment, don't try to fix it. That can be a difference maker alone. Secondly is, help them with some practical solutions. If you're a great budgeter, sit down and look at their budget, help them revise it. Or maybe, talk about financial goals, like they pay down a credit card debt over the next 6 months, and make them accountable for that. So there are different ways you can do that, but ultimately, be there when they reach out to a trustee, because oftentimes when I meet with people, I welcome them bringing a family member or friend, because when I start to talk about the details of a consumer proposal as a way to resolve debt, it can get overwhelming, and having that second set of eyes and ears gives that reassurance to that individual that, look, I've got this and I can make an informed decision.
All right, great advice as usual. Thank you for
You're welcome.
This portion of the morning show is brought to you by Grant Thornton Limited, licensed insolvency trustees.